Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're back with breaking news so you don't break your bank. Merrill Chandler here, your host of the Get Fundable universe. And we're here and Fundability Incorporated rocks. All right. So we got some variety in the news today, but you're going to see some common themes. First of all, the expansion of apps and fintech solutions to traditional banking problems. Let's start there. First, there are several fintech apps that basically have negotiated with different banks that an application uses an API, right, which is the automatic connections, and you go into your app like Mint or others and you add your bank accounts, and then the app brings in this information from the bank accounts and lets you do things with it, a la Mint, right? Well, Plaid is basically more and more fintechs are hooking up with Plaid so that applications can go straight to Venmo, straight to Truebill, straight to Acorns, straight to Betterment, these different applications without going, and they're bypassing traditional bank checking accounts. Now, that's the big deal for us in the world of Fundability, because we want bank lines of credit, we want business lines of credit, bank loans, bank business credit cards, besides all of the good consumer savvy borrower, intelligent savvy, sophisticated borrower, high value accounts, right? So by having Plaid link in directly, instead of going to a bank and getting their bank information, they're literally going and getting Venmo information and Acorns information, and creates the opportunity to bypass banks completely. Remember, one of the big banking internal performance data is how many transactions go through a checking account. Well, if these different applications start bypassing bank accounts, it reduces the transactions, and there becomes a void of traffic through some of these accounts, the regular traditional bank accounts, checking accounts, and now once again, traditional banking is losing its stranglehold on the American borrower. So big news there. And there are others who will be coming on board here. But Visa, earlier this year, Visa actually tried to acquire Plaid because and the Department of Justice blocked the merger because it was under antitrust doctrines, because between the ability to go outside of banks and Visa's massive influence in processing credit cards, imagine if Visa could literally take money straight into Venmo. Visa could take money straight into Acorns and bypass bank accounts. So it was blocked, but I don't believe that that's going to stay there forever, because an appeal is in play, and it's not necessarily antitrust, it's just anti-bank. So we'll let them figure all of that out. But it is, whether or not they drop the idea or continue to push forward, it's coming, you guys. It's coming. Now, remember, this does not affect fundability. Every type of funding in the universe requires a lender and requires a borrower. The lender wants to measure borrower behaviors, because one thing that banks did get right is the awareness. Same thing with FICO's. Basically, FICO laid down cover fire for this entire process over the last 10 years. And automatic underwriting requires the use or the analysis and tracking of borrower behaviors. So this does not affect fundability. What it does do is we're watching the shakeup of traditional banking, and whether it's peer-to-peer or it's going to be crowdfunding where everybody put in $100, put in $1 million, and we will, here's the criteria that we lend, and you lend everybody's money at interest. Well, these crowdfundings have become pseudo quasi neo banks. And that's what we're watching. So big deal there. Go Plaid. In our own application, we're using Plaid type technology to bring all of our clients' credit cards and checking accounts into one place so that our app can do the tracking, can do the optimization, can pay down the debt, pay down balances, all those things. All right. Next. Now, this one was more on the education piece. This is true to my focus and heart, because I'm all about borrower education, right? So there was a huge study done, and high school students moving into college are struggling to understand money because of the lack of true financial education inside of the schools, and they're not getting it from any of the financial institutions that are actually marketing to them. So we have this massive black hole of misinformation. Remember my 500 plus credit and financial myths, and still counting. And so everybody believes the myths and don't have a true access to borrower education. Hence, all the work that we continue. 2022 has been an education platforms development sprint. So we're building the education platform so that we can educate in vertical markets. We want to educate students. We want to educate parents of students. We want to educate the parents. Then we want to educate people who are buying cars, buying homes, on all the real principles of fundability and what it takes to be a smart, strategic borrower, right? So, and with the recent release of our master course, it's a business funding master course, and by September, October, we will have the personal financial fitness program released that is just consumer based, how to switch from a low value profile and end up with a high value profile, and all the education that students and savvy borrowers need to know to not just survive but thrive in the credit markets and as borrowers. So all of that is a thing. So excited about that. Not excited about the black hole, just noticing that nobody knows nobody knows the principles of fundability. So everybody, they see the need, and they simply go back to, well, we need to teach people what a checking account is. But they don't teach them about the 1, 2, 4, 7. They don't teach them about traffic. They don't transaction loads. They don't teach them about, I got the hugest aha, you guys, from people. I told them, oh yeah, you go to your bank, you close your overdraft protection account, and you tell the bank to turn off to reject any transaction that goes through zero, that punches through zero, and then call 2 more times to make sure it was done. I said that much to some people I was at dinner with, and they're like, you can do that? And then I got into deeper about how they track traffic in your overdraft protection, and that you're sending a message anytime you go into your overdraft protection. You're sending a message to the world that, and future lenders, that you don't know how to manage your own money. Nobody. This is the only place that I'm aware of that is teaching this tech. And if anybody else is teaching it, they probably got it from attending my boot camp or the master course. But that's what 2022 is about. We're screaming sprint to December 31st, have all of our borrower education platforms up so that you and all of your loved ones have the opportunity for low cost, simple, elegant, and effortless way to create fundability. So anyway, speaking of overdraft charges, The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau finds the mobile savings app Digit, fines them almost $3 million because they were failing to prevent consumers from triggering overdraft fees on their accounts. Man, I just got through talking about this. So the charges are Digit engaged in deceptive acts or practices by using an algorithm that routinely caused customer checking accounts to overdraft. Nobody cares about your fundability, guys. Nobody, but you and me. Nobody. They don't give a shit. They want to make their money the way they make it, and they don't even know that they're putting a blindfold on you and sending you across the minefield. That's what I'm committed to. That's what we're about. But I just want to share with you that even apps do not protect zero. They're like, oh, they have overdraft. Remember, if you go into the overdraft account, it protects you, right? But some people don't have overdraft, so they're charging $25 to $35 fees every time you punch through zero. That is not okay. If you haven't done so yet, call your bank, every single bank, checking accounts. Call your checking accounts and say, I want every check, every draft, every debit from my debit card. I want automatic payments to be rejected. I don't care if it bounces your Netflix account. That is far less impactful to your life than punching through zero and getting an overdraft account and getting a negative relationship mark with the bank. Overdrafts usually prevent you from getting new credit or credit limit increases if you have credit cards there for 6 months for a single overdraft. If you don't know how to manage your own money, they're not going to teach you that. Then they're not going to give you theirs. The problem is nobody's teaching this except for here. So, all right, high horse. There we go. And then finally, there is the CFBP once again says big tech digital marketers are liable for unfair, deceptive practices. Thank heavens. So basically, digital marketing firms are using algorithms to target specific consumers with ads or content misrepresenting credit score development, credit profile, build your credit, and are using deceptive and unfair and abusive acts on unsuspecting borrowers. I wished I could literally have a web class for at least 300 million Americans. We all spend one weekend together, and our financial game would change overnight. It's unlikely I'm going to be given that forum. I'm not the Super Bowl. So we will, but I'm committed, and we're not going to stop. And our momentum continues to build in getting this rule or this out there. So tell your friends, tell your loved ones. Our fundabilitymastercourse.com, www.fundabilitymastercourse.com is the center of my fundability universe. Everything that I have, everything you need is right there, ready to go. I will see you same Fundable time, same Fundable channel next week, Tuesday, 3:45 Mountain.